think part of it was that we wanted to do it right, like really right, do something special and different. I know that there are a lot of systems where people add a couple more panels and then they'll add a couple more panels and then they'll add a couple more panels. I think we really wanted to start with a clean slate, completely remove our old panels and put something super special up.
And for the longest time, we were sort of limping along with the smaller solar system we'd installed at the very beginning, which early on was enough to meet our needs. It was before we had a residential refrigerator. It was before we were working, really full-time from the road and having greater power needs. So we sort of just kept limping along with that and putting off, thinking, well, we've got this investment in solar already. We don't want to spend any more until we know what we're going to do. And then once the residential refrigerator came into the equation and we really started having greater power needs, and then of course stepping into the lithium world with the eGEN, and finally now having the storage capacity to hold the power we need to operate generator free for as long as we can. That was really sort of the impetus for doing it. And
there was a limitation before. You mentioned the eGEN.
Yeah.
And before that, we had that limitation partly because of our battery tray was only a certain size. And a lot of decisions that get made about how you're going to proceed with a project may be limited by one factor. And the first factor that kind of had us holding back was our battery tray wasn't large enough to hold a very large bank of batteries. We would have had to have a new battery rack fabricated in the engine compartment for our engine batteries so that we could use the entire battery tray for house batteries. And when the eGEN came along, that switch to lithium made it possible for us to put far more power in the same footprint than we ever could have before. We only enlarged our battery tray by a very small amount, and that was only necessary because of a fluke that Newmar only built the original battery tray big enough just to fit what they put on it and no bigger. The compartment was plenty big enough for more. So welding, cutting and welding our battery tray a little bit bigger, putting that eGEN lithium 600 amp hour battery in, that suddenly opened up the whole world. Before that, we really didn't have the motivation or impetus to put a big solar bank on the roof. Yeah. So it really, one thing led to the other. Lithium led to the ability to feed more power in.